The restoration of this military railway is a major triumph for the French team of enthusiasts working in northern France. Old wagons that have not run for years and years are moving again. Special trucks built for army needs are being restored by the volunteers. And at weekends in the summer, it all starts to move again. Some of the wagons are covered. Some are wide open to the skies. Some of the engines are steam. Some are very ancient diesel or petrol-driven models, like this old faithful, now being connected up to its train under the watchful eye of the President himself, Monsieur Blondin. It was due to Lawyer Blondin's enthusiasm that the railway has been restored, and he has proved that the French are now catching up with the British in discovering examples of industrial archaeology, although he himself admits that the French enthusiasts only turn out when the sun shines. But when it does, they're all there, man, woman, and dog. The railway survived because after the First World War, it was used from 1919 to 1924 to help rebuild the devastated areas at the front. This system of supplying goods and equipment in the reconstruction process proved so effective that local industry became interested, and in 1927 the entire line was bought up by the sugar beet factory at Dompierre, who operated it until 1972. The sugar beet factory lay at the top of the plateau above the Somme Canal and was reached by a deserted roadway, providing scenery in total contrast to the wooded country in the valley below. We're now about 40 meters higher than at the start of the line. One still wonders if the holidaymakers enjoying the sunlit journey in this magnificent setting have any idea at all of the original purpose of the strange-looking engine up in front, and realize that these very carriages they're riding in for fun were once upon a time used for this. In February of 1916, the French came under enormous pressure from the Germans at the Battle of Verdun, and the Allied High Command decided that it was essential to mount a massive counterattack, a counterattack so vast it could lead to a breakthrough all along the line and end the war. It was decided that the main area of attack should be on the Somme. The 60-centimetre gauge tracks of the Picardy railway were considered ideal for maintaining the build-up to the assault. They had been requisitioned by the French late in 1915 and were now handed over to the British. Operating the railway was not a cushy number. The tracks were often hit by enemy gunfire, and so were the trains. When King George V visited the front line, he too travelled on the spruced-up narrow-gauge railway with a special seat and platform for the royal personage. The king did his duty during the First World War with more than one visit to the front. Nevertheless, there was no let-up in protocol. It was usually only officers and the men due for decoration who ever got near enough to actually speak to the king. However, his mere presence was a great morale booster, and this was particularly true when it came to the presentation of such awards for gallantry under fire as the Victoria Cross. Indeed, I wonder how many of the present-day volunteers maintaining the old track or lighting up an engine ready for the day's work realize that they're working on what was once a British Royal train. Like our own preserved railways, this one draws on people from all walks of life to carry out an assortment of jobs. Computer engineers, insurance salesmen, garage mechanics. Even the president's son, Monsieur Blondin Jr., is not above a bit of carriage cleaning. After all, not everyone can be engine drivers, but they can at least help in getting the engine ready and the fire going nicely. It's quite common for whole families to spend the day at the shed, with everyone doing their bit to assist. Young and old alike work on the railway. It takes about 2 hours to get a steam engine going from coal, because the various metal parts must be allowed to heat up slowly. Otherwise they expand too fast and too unevenly, leading to leaky boilers and buckled plates. A great triumph for the society was to get some of these engines designated as national monuments, which means they could never be scrapped, and the government accepts at least some responsibility for making sure that they're maintained in reasonable order. One of the volunteers explains how it all works.
Monsieur Tranchard, how many years have you worked on this railway?
Well, it's the third year I'm working here. Yes.
And what work do you do?
I can do different work here. I can, for example, drive the locomotive. I can get the fire. I can work on the track or different work like that.
How many days do you come here?
I come here every weekend during the year.
The Petit Train Railway is by no means an old-fashioned organisation. Where a job can be done quicker and more efficiently by modern machinery, they use it, as in this case of bolting down the rails to the primitive sleepers with a sort of power-driven screwdriver. The idea of a highly mobile 60-centimetre narrow-gauge railway was developed in France in 1880 by an industrialist, Paul Decaville. His portable railway was originally designed for use on farms and in quarries and coal mines. It could be laid at the rate of 2 miles a day if you were really pushed, and the ground was suitable to bear the maximum weight of the locomotives. The British, French and German armies took a keen interest from about 1885 onwards. In the case of the French and the Germans, they even adopted the same gauge of 60 centimetres, so captured German engines could be instantly put to work on the French side. Except that now, in 1916, the French side had become the British side, with typical old Bill-type Tommies watering the engines from convenient shell holes by the side of the line, filling in gaps in the track bed, or just doing the 101 jobs needed to keep the supplies rolling. The front passed between Capri and Dampierre. Standard gauge trains could come with British supplies across the Channel to Calais or to Boulogne. They then went by rail through Amiens, on to Albert, and finally up as far as Croissy. Here the narrow gauge took over for the dangerous run immediately behind the line, to the actual fighting area, in and around Cathy. You can see the guns themselves as the train arrives with a load of ammunition, well within the area of bombardment.